right, guys, we have 53 seconds left. Come on and put your city and state in the chat and let us know where you are chiming in from so that you can hear us loud and clear. We want to make sure that you can hear us loud and clear. Go ahead and put your city and state in the chat. Also, do me a favor, if you're watching us on Facebook, tag a couple people, tag a couple ladies, a couple of fellas to join in on the conversation, as well as if you're on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and of course subscribe to the channel. So we're about to get started, guys, in just a few seconds. So again, share. We are so excited to have you guys here. Welcome. Go ahead and let us know in the chat space what city and state that you guys are chiming in from. All right, you guys, so getting started in 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes. Well, look, what's going on, everybody? Taria Vision Avant. I am so excited to be here today, and we have another incredible guest here for Wealthy Wednesdays. Another one of our amazing author all-stars who is out here in the world leveraging their books, out here leveraging their experience and their journey to impact and change lives. Listen, if you want to be a part of Wealthy Wednesdays, because we don't just talk about wealth in the bank account, right? Because I'm a big believer that if you want to be wealthy in life, you have to be wealthy in mind, body, and soul. You got to be wealthy in your wellness. You got to be wealthy in your relationships, wealthy in your business, in your career, in your activities. And so when we talk about Wealthy Wednesdays, we talk about all areas of life. Okay, so if you want to be a part of Wealthy Wednesdays, all you got to do first is be a part of our incredible Book Profits Club family. And when you join us in the Book Profits Club family, we will book you up so that you can be highlighted on one of our next Wealthy Wednesdays. Now, if you want to see any of the replays, all you have to do, and I'm going to type this on the screen real quick, is go to www.authorallstars.com. Also on that website, guys, you're able to check out some of our amazing author all-stars who are also speakers. So if you are ever looking for speakers for your next event, dynamic superstar speakers, all you got to do is go to authorallstars.com. This is also where we're going to have our magazine that we just released last year so that you guys can plug into that and everything. All right. And let me shout the folks out that's watching us live. Cindy Reed in North Carolina. What's going on? Hello, Angela Wynn. Make sure, guys, go ahead and put in the chat space what city and state you guys are chiming in from. It will be sure to shout you out on the screen. All right. So let me go ahead and introduce today's amazing speaker, author. I mean, just doing all types of great things. Y'all, her name is Vivian Smith Barnes, also known as Queen Viv. She is an author, transformational coach, and playwright born out of Bronx, New York, and raised in Boston, Massachusetts. Queen Viv holds a bachelor's in sociology with minors in religious studies, criminal justice, and creative writing. She received her master's degree in counseling and psychology. She also served as a family therapist for well over 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen, she is a certified Reiki Master teacher and Soul Realignment Practitioner. Her journey began with her being groomed into the sex trade industry, guys, at the age of 14. After multiple arrests, Queen Viv's life turned completely around, and her quest to break self-sabotaging behaviors, eliminate PTSD, anxiety, sent her on a journey of self-healing. She integrated, y'all, let me get my reading together, chat. She integrated the healing arts with spiritual and mental health strategies to teach women how to get unstuck. Queen Viv's commitment is to help women, or previously women, in the sex trade industry discover their calling, using their femininity to establish a higher purpose and materialize their purpose and goals. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to give it up for Queen Viv. Hello, darling. How are you doing today?
I am awesome. Thank you so much for that introduction.
Oh, absolutely. Look, Viv, I am so excited to have you here today, especially because you just are a wealth of knowledge and you have a lot. I know you got tons and tons and tons of stories, but today I know that we're here to talk about a specific topic. And first, before we get into that, I know that we gave a little bit of your bio, but how did you get where you are today and how you're helping women? So if you could give us a little brief additional, and then I know you have these books. So how did you get to where you are today?
So, well, first of all, I actually started my journey working with men. I hid from doing work with women for years because I hadn't yet addressed my own trauma. So, basically, my I'll say my game when I was out there in them streets was that I was a college student. I used to say that all the time. I used to say, "Oh, yeah, I'm trying to earn money for college and blah blah blah." I mean, I was always a smart girl, but I wasn't going to college. In fact, I don't even. Yeah, I think I had my GED at that time, but I, basically kind of talked that into existence because I had one foot in the street and one foot in college. In fact, I had a situation where I actually bumped into somebody that I had previously been with or knew from the streets in one of my college classes. And that was really, really awkward. But, so I took the bull by the horns. Eventually I got out the life and I said, hey, I want to pursue my education, and I managed to get my bachelor's. Actually, it took me a long time. It took me about 6 years to do that because I had so much to work through, but I just kept on going and going and going. And I don't really know how I did it. I even had two children on the way. So but oh, they saved my life though. They kept me going. They kept me going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I know now today you're here and we're going to dig deep into some really heavy conversation, I think, but heavy in a good way because it's designed to help change lives. You talked about, being at 14 years of age, being introduced into the sex trade industry. And we know that, today it is happening more than ever. And we're seeing it more than ever, shall we say. What led you to wanting, well, first of all, how did you get caught up in the sex trade industry at that age of 14? And then now today, what has been the turning point for you to decide to help others from that industry as well?
Mhm. So, how I got into it, and I talk a little bit about it in my book, in the introduction, um, Mask Off. Uh, yeah, and it's about finding freedom on the other side of sexual exploitation. Um, I, was a little revolutionist when I was about 13, but I actually got a hold of some other types of books that probably a 13-year-old shouldn't have been reading. And I became fascinated I don't know, I became fascinated with Xavier Hollander, and anybody that's a little bit older might know who that is. And she was the happy hooker. And I was like, it was glamorized in those books. And I just, with my little 13-year-old mind, I didn't even know where to put that stuff. All I knew was there was this woman. She seemed to have a lot of power. I mean, I didn't know anything about sex at that time, but I read a lot of those books, in fact, all of her books. And I eventually, probably about a year later, I became involved with the wrong crowd. But the interesting thing was because I was exposed to that type of rhetoric or that type of information at such a young age, stranger danger was not something that I really knew about because I had already been exposed by reading those books. So, for parents, be careful of what your children are taking in, because not only was I a revolutionist and I read things like Soul on Ice and a lot of other books that my aunt had, I was very smart. So the average person, I'll say, well, at least the person that kind of like groomed me was extremely intelligent. And I think that I gravitated towards him because he, taught me a lot of things. And I was probably like a sitting duck because here I was, this smart girl, and I knew a whole lot. And then also I had become desensitized to the sex trade industry by picking up those books and drawing in the wrong information, as our kids do today online and in television, and sometimes even in music. As far as um, helping other women, I always had that in my heart because I wanted, I was always, in fact, I was always that person, even out in the streets where, people would gravitate towards me and they would be like maybe strung out on heroin or something like that. And I definitely wasn't on drugs. Um, but I always seemed to be the one that stood out and was that person that people came to and with their problems and things like that. So I always knew that I wanted to help women, but I just didn't know where my life was leading me at that time. And through the grace of God, I'm still here.
Amen. Amen. And I always am so fascinated because Vivian is, well, you young enough to be my older sister. You know what I'm saying? So it's so funny because I don't, you can share with everybody your young age, but when she talks about blessed enough to be around, and just knowing what you have gone through as far as just the different movements that you've been a part of, I'm just always so fascinated with you because I know you just probably have a ton of stories to share. I can only imagine, but it's so powerful that you have been able to figure out one area in your life that you really want to contribute towards helping other individuals, and of course that's into the sex trade. Well, today we're talking about getting into your feminine, okay, of 2023. Explain to me, what is that all about? Like, what do you mean by stepping into that? How does that look?
So, you know, women, we have been sort of hijacked for so many years. I mean, the only deities or, people that are on high, the prophets, the sages, and, they, they were men as far as what we are taught. And that is absolutely not true. Women had everything to do with, building this civilization, so to speak. But in 2023 in particular, and I definitely don't want to get into too much of the cosmic information because I know we have a wide range of people that'll be seeing this video. I mean, if you're interested, then you can, of course, talk to me afterwards. But this is the time where the feminine energy is starting to rise. We are now in the age of Aquarius, and I am not, that's not my area. That is not my area. However, I do know a little bit about the age of Aquarius. In fact, they were singing about it in the 60s. And what that means basically is that we're moving into an era where people are becoming more, and it doesn't seem like it, but it's happening. Trust me when I tell you, the energy is shifting from the masculine to the feminine, where individuals are actually, finding the value in, let's say, like honoring their emotions and knowing that it's important to nurture your family. We're kind of going back to the old school way, even though we have this matrix thing that people keep talking about, this matrix. But the feminine energy is now entering into the system. And the bottom line is, whether we're male or female, there has to be a level of balance,
Mm.
or else we're just going to perish. I mean, you could already see when you turn on TV, you see it's a lot of havoc, and it's hard for people to maintain their mentality right now. And then I'm gonna say one more thing about the matrix. I know everybody hears about, oh, the matrix, this, the matrix. The matrix is basically, it has to do with the mind. And as you see, is social consciousness is being attacked right now through social media.
Yep.
People are driving the narrative in ways that are causing us more pain than help. And so here, this feminine energy is listen. Mother Nature is pissed. Okay, you can see Mother Nature is pissed, and but I see light on the other side of the tunnel. I see light. There are a lot of people that are doing work underground that the social media, they get kicked off of YouTube. They get kicked off of YouTube and Facebook because they're telling the truth.
Uh-huh.
So there are other platforms that are sort of like underground where people are doing some real light working and energetic working. So, we got y'all.
That's what I'm talking about. Listen, you talk about social conscious. I like to say that social media has created social subconscious because like we're
Mhm.
doing stuff without even knowing that we're doing it. And definitely I think it is important. And I am, it's funny, I am seeing more people starting to address femininity and understanding the power of that and the power of what we have, even as women, and even being able to bring that over to our men and understanding all of that, right? I was watching something just the other day too, child, and it was talking about lions and lionesses, and that lionesses, while they're some of the most powerful and they are the hunters, they still are the feminine energy of the two lions, like and the male, like and it's funny too because when I went to South Africa, the men, they were asleep, legs all wide open. You can only imagine what you could see, right? Even though they're animals. And the ladies, while they're hunting, it's like just the way that they move was still very feminine, and so it's so fun. And that's a natural instinct for them. And so I love having a conversation about this. Well, I want to ask you this though, because I know that you help women in different areas. Connect this particular topic that we're talking about today with what it is and how you serve women in your space.
So I actually, there's different levels. There's different levels. Um I'm actually learning how to be multilingual, let's say, because I know that women, they need what, how could I say, they need what I am offering in terms of education around how to become healers, and how to break self-sabotaging behaviors, and sort of be like empowered in the family. However, I teach Reiki, but not everybody is resonating towards Reiki. So what I do is I also coach. Now, I like to say my model is more like a therapeutic approach. I am a family therapist by trade. I've learned an awful lot in that industry, and I enough so that I realize that it's going to take a whole lot more than medication for us to heal, to heal our families. But you can't have one without the other. You cannot. Like you said earlier, in terms of wealth, I'm looking at it from a holistic standpoint where we're talking about mental health and spiritual wealth. Because it really doesn't matter how much money you have in your pocket or in your bank account, because the bottom line is if you are being controlled, like you mentioned, Taria, this subconscious of a matrix type thing, that money is, it doesn't mean anything anyway, because you're still not happy. Your family is going all crazy. You probably losing your mind in some sort of way, because really that's what this day and age is designed to do, is kind of like make us lose control of our thinking. So as far as if you're a visual person, and how do I help? First of all, I sit down and I figure out what it is that you need help with. And I'll bring in the soul realignment piece to it. And I know that a lot of people probably don't even know what that is. But the truth is that I can actually read individual souls, where they actually came from before they incarnated into this life, which is this third dimensional life. And I mean, I'm sure people talk about past lives and blah blah blah. Yeah, It's all about that. It's all about karmic energy. And one of the things that I do is I would read a person's, find out where their soul family is and find out what it was and the characteristics of that particular soul family. And honestly, it's so fun. I mean, I actually love it. I mean, some people might think, oh my goodness, that's just some otherworldly stuff. But we have to be open today. We have to be open because let me tell you something, 2023 is not going to be a joke. And we have to stop doing things the same way, thinking that we're going to have different results, because that is insanity. So we definitely need to keep ourselves open for the divine feminine, and so we can find some balance on this planet. So as far as the soul realignment, what I do with that is once I come up with the reading, we find out, through past lives, like, what is this karma or this karmic pattern that you've been carrying with you throughout these lives? And once we pinpoint that, then we start working on ways to remedy it, ways to address it, ways to break those etheric patterns. And it's really actually pretty simple. It sounds a little complicated because we're just having this conversation right now, but it's very, very simple. We all have karmic patterns. We all have some of the things that we do constantly. Like, why am I always doing this? And let me tell you something. And I know I don't want to just keep rambling on in that particular question, but I do want to give an example. What I found out was that I had a very unhealthy relationship with money. And that was throughout the training that I took with Christy Sheldon. I've had so many spiritual teachers, and I learned that because when I was younger, and this was when I was about 12 years old, maybe like 11 years old, my mom, she used to actually send me to the county so that I could ask for money. We grew up kind of poor, ask for, like, well, we call it welfare here in Massachusetts. And we were on welfare, broken family. We grew up kind of poor, actually. We didn't know it because, mom had her own way of just making life fun. But I had to ask for the money from the county so that I could feed my brothers and sisters. In fact, I even had to go pick up the child support money from my dad when, and my brothers and sisters would be waiting at home because they would be hungry. And if, God forbid, if he didn't have the money for child support, which back then was like $40 a week. Can you imagine that? $40 a week for maybe like, well, there was four of us at the time. And so, that was really humiliating to me. And then I realized that I associated money with humiliation. And no wonder at 14, 15 years old, I was somehow attracted that energy where I was trading sex for money. So there is a foundation to our behaviors, and we just don't know what they are. And this is the time to be learning about those things. So I am healing. I am healing. It gets deep. It gets deep.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And I definitely want to shout out some individuals that are tuning in as well. Let me shout out Cindy Reed, Angela Wynn. We have Griselda Smith, Nikki Moore, Terry. Hello, hello, hello. And if if you're just tuning in, let me fix my hair tag because I don't like my hair be looking crazy in case y'all taking some screenshots. But look, if you're just tuning in, guys, we are talking with Vivian Smith Barnes. And so I'm going to bring her back on, but I just wanted to make sure, give her a little chance, in case she wanted to pat up, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to bring her back on because the conversation of today, I think, is very important and something that, we all need to be better connecting with. And not only just talking about diving in or into your divine feminine energy, but also understanding our calling and things of that nature. And so let me go ahead and bring back on Vivian. Let's give it up for Vivian in the house. Yes, yes. Oh, hold on, man. I got her claps too low. Let's give it up for Vivian in the house one more time. Yes. So, Vivian, you are doing an incredible job here. I wanted to ask you if you could, because I know that you have written over 6 books. You are a multiple time self-published author. Talk to us a little bit about the books that you've actually written, the Mask Off 1 and Mask Off 2, because I know that we're going to give everybody an opportunity to be able to get a copy of that. Vivian? Uh-oh. Are you there? All right. I'm not sure what's going on, but maybe she might not be able to hear me right now. So I'll try to go back to her in a minute. But guys, drop some major, major bombs that you're receiving from Vivian Smith Barnes in the chat today. I hope that you guys are taking away a ton of information as I get ready to bring her back on. I am so excited. Now, really quick, I just want to share with you all that if you are an author, specifically a speaker, coach, or network marketer, guys, we're looking for you to be a part of what we're doing here on Wealthy Wednesdays. We want to interview you, talk to you about your book, but also talk to you how you are impacting this world. All you have to be is a part of the Book Profits Club family, which comes a lot with a lot of bells and whistles. And Vivian is a part of the family as well. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her back on over. And yes, she says breaking these cycles. Amen. Thank you, Terry, for that comment. Well, let's go ahead and bring Vivian back onto the platform. Vivian, are you there? Hello, Vivian. Can you hear me? I don't know what happened, y'all. I can hear her though. I don't know why she can't hear me anymore. All right. Well, I don't know. I want to make sure that we can definitely get her back on the line. Let me see if I can message her while we are here. But guys, I am so excited. Hold on one second. Okay, so she said it's frozen. So I'll just go ahead and bump her off and maybe have her come back on, and then we'll be able to bring her in. So anyways, guys, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, Book Profits Club family is on deck again. Taria Vision Avant, and we're going to bring, okay, there she goes. She's coming back on. So awesome, so awesome. Let's go ahead and bring her back onto the screen. So Vivian, welcome, welcome back. I'm going to get ready to bring you back onto the screen. But my question, actually, I don't even remember what the actual question was. So we're going to dip into, your books. I want you to talk to us about your books, Mask Off 1 and Mask Off 2. So let's bring her back on one more again with the applause. Let's bring on Vivian.
Thank you.
No problem.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. We can hear you then. Somehow you said I was frozen, but you weren't. We can hear you. But tell us about your books that you have out.
Okay, so Mask Off 1 is surviving the mental health epidemic in urban America, and this is the first book that I wrote on my own. I have written I think 4 or 5 collaboration books, but this is started out to be my baby. You know, me being in the mental health field, and actually being a little frustrated because of, you know, the way that the westernized industry is treating our individuals, you know, our families and our friends, just basically loading them up with medication, and coming from an approach that is not holistic. So, you know, this book here is great for people who may be suffering with some sort of mental imbalance. It's great for people who are mental health practitioners. It's great for people who want to get into it, or they might be getting ready to graduate. So I take pride in this book. There's a lot. It's also a how-to. And my second book that I wrote on my own is Mask Off. It's Finding Freedom on the Other Side of Sexual Exploitation. And, you know, this one has been a little bit complicated, but it is basically giving you tips about how to identify, you know, when a young person is being groomed into the sex trade industry. It talks about the history of prostitution. It talks about the, it also talks about breaking cycles. Let's see. It talks about, there's a lot in here. It breaks down, you know, the way that women are viewed in this society. And it's sort of a how-to as well. So I just adore both of these books, and you know, definitely transforming lives. When you read them, every chapter, you know, there's something in it that will speak to your soul.
Well, so proud that you are able to get these books out to the masses. And I know that any and everybody that grabs a copy of them will be blessed. And we'll tell you real quick in a minute how you guys can actually grab that, because she also has a gift for you guys that are watching on today. But of course, I would have to, of course, include how has being a part of the Book Profits Club family helped you and your business. So share with everybody why are you a part of BPC and how do you love it?
So book profits, oh man. I'll tell you, it is really stretching me because I've been comfortable. I've been actually writing books with Taria through her journey of grooming individual. I'm calling you the book profits guru now, okay? And I, but then books profits, it's a whole nother level. There are entrepreneurs that belong to this, I'll say, family. There are so many tools. It is a one-stop shop, and for people who don't want to have everything everywhere, like usually that's how we start out. Book Profits Club is the place to connect with so that you can have 2 feet in the door. And when I say that, I mean anywhere from writing your book, learning how to leverage your book. Because of course we learned that you're not going to become a millionaire or even probably make a lot of money with selling a lot of books. That's not. I look at it as, and I was taught to look at it as sort of like an expensive business card. You take your book and you leverage it. And not to say that we aren't experts, because of course we're all experts in being ourselves, and that's the thing sometimes that we get twisted about. But this makes you an expert. This is like your badge of, saying, hey, this is what I've been through, and you have it in black and white. And it gives you, I would say, it helps to create legacy. So I am so honored to be a part of Books Profits Club. Taria, I'm loving what you're doing with this.
Oh, absolutely. And, Viv has been with us for a minute. So she's one of our original OGs in the group because we've been around for a while and she has been plugged in. I mean, I don't remember the first year that you did, but a collaborative project with us. But I don't even think Book Profits Club was around when you first joined with us because we came up with that in 2019 to be able to help authors. And so it has been a privilege having you here on this journey. And guys, y'all just make sure y'all stay tuned because Vivian about to be on and popping for 2023. Okay, Darlene. So really quick, tell us what it is that you have to give away to everybody that's watching and like break it down of what they're going to get when they get that free download.
Okay, so the free download, first of all, you can get it at www.queengemsdownload.com. Queengemsdownload.com. And what that is a free download, a free ebook. And I break down in 9 points some gems that every queen should have. And we're queens. We are queens. It talks about the chakras. It talks about, the energy centers. It talks about vibrational frequency in layman's terms. So even if you don't know anything about it, you can definitely learn a little bit about it through this ebook. So that, yeah, it's 9 gems to rock your crown. And I do a little checklist to see if you got the queen gene. And, we got the queen gene, but we just need to reactivate it. So, 9 gems to rock your crown. Those gems will definitely reactivate your queen gene.
Come on, reactivate. So y'all make sure, get your copy of this today. You're going to go to queengemsdownload.com. It's going to give you some amazing, amazing gems. I think that all of us need to have. And I mean, Viv, I got to put it out there because I think people need to listen to a woman with wisdom. How young are you, darling?
I am 63 years old.
Girl,
yes.
Looking like shit 35. Okay.
I should be selling that.
No, and actually, as we were sitting here thinking, I was like, we about to do a new twist to how you impact, because the fact that you are 63 years young and you are full of energy and you have experienced literally so many different areas in life, from the pro-black movement to the femininity movement to now we dealing with all this social programming and things of that nature. You've seen a lot. And so when we talk about having the wisdom of what a woman needs to do to wear her crowns, baby, we know that Queen Viv is the key. She is the key. She's the source. And so, guys, you got to make sure that you go ahead and download your gift today by going to queengemsdownload.com. And then once you download, you'll also get an opportunity to purchase her books. And so you want to make sure that you grab a copy of those books, but also make sure that you download. Now, I know you also talked about Reiki. And so I'm sure that once everybody that joins who wants to learn more about this amazing source of healing with the Reiki healing, she'll be reaching out to you so that you guys can schedule some time to get on the phone. Queen Viv, do you have any last imparting words that you want to leave with our queens and kings that are currently watching this broadcast?
Yeah, I thought about this before I got on, and just keeping it really, really simple. Sometimes we're just way too hard on ourselves, and I decided that if I can just make this planet a little bit better than I found it, then I did my job. You know, Raising the vibration of the planet is the goal. Join me.
Listen, you guys, make sure that you join Queen Viv and definitely plug into everything that she has going on. It is always a pleasure to highlight our amazing author all-stars that are changing the world with their purpose in this place. And so if you are serious about really being able to identify what your purpose here is on this world, get that healing. If you're ready to really identify what those crowns are and how to get those crowns, all my ladies diving into their feminine power, and even my men too that want to learn a little bit more about that, y'all make sure that y'all reach out to Queen Viv. My name is Taria Vision Avant, and listen, we do Wealthy Wednesdays every Wednesday. And if you would like to see the replay of any one of our interviews, you can always go to authorallstars.com. That's also where, if you want to connect with any of our amazing authors, maybe you would like them to come and speak to your audience and impact your group, well, you can have them to come and speak. You simply go to authorallstars.com. That is the website where we highlight them. You can connect with them directly through there, as well as see the interviews. And very soon we'll be uploading our 2022-2023 Author All Stars magazine. It's been a privilege to be with you guys today, and I hope to see you guys on next Wednesday. Till then, I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Bye, y'all.